And we are live. Good morning, everyone. So last week, Mode dropped Mode Trade, the holy trinity of trading. And today we're going to be diving into the deal. So in short, Mode Trade is an AI-driven trading platform, a perp dex fully loaded with an AI terminal and predictive data from Mode's Synth subnet. James, sir, good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going, sir? Amber, how you going?
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Great to have you guys here. So we're going to dive straight into this. Why don't we just go for some brief intros? Just James, tell us who you are and what you're doing on stage here. And Amber, you can do the same. What are your roles at Mode?
Absolutely. So, yeah, I'm James, founder of Mode, and super excited to be here to demo and take everyone through Mode Trade.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amber, head of incubation at Mode. I joined Mode April last year, so have been with the team for slightly more than a year now. Mostly work with early stage startups, help them grow the product and deploy on Mode. Last year, I led 2 accelerator programs at Mode, and since the end of last year, I mostly focused on building our Synth subnet. Excited to talk about it.
Absolutely. We'll dive right into it. So we're going to be going through a demo today. We're going to turn Amber's screen on soon. James, before we do that, why don't we just dive in for a few seconds here on the why? Why did you build Mode Trade? What was it that inspired you to do it?
Absolutely. So, right now, we have like a load of great tools, perp dexes within the ecosystem and, yeah, within like the wider crypto space. But what we really wanted to do was bring together Synth and this like data layer, this forecasting data layer, and Mode Trade, or a venue to trade on, and have them both running through the AI terminal. So it made sense to build out Mode Trade, and we partnered with Audley on this. So a lot of like the trading engine, or the trading engine, is run by Audley, which is battle tested infra for trading, deep liquidity. So it meant that we could very quickly have a perp dex live with deep liquidity, which people can start to trade on, which is really awesome. And they can use the AI terminal. We have a full integration there, and they can also use Synth data to help in their decision making. So yeah, I guess it's really that like we saw the opportunity to build out something differentiated that we really think can bring value to users who trade on chain.
Love it. So can you reiterate for me just for a second the actual differences between the normal dexes, the normal perps dexes that you see on the market today, and the next level, which Mode Trade has brought the perps dex experience to, particularly highlighting the AI features that are integrated into the dex?
Absolutely. So, it's early days. We just launched a week ago. Mode Trade is like powered by Audley. So all the features which are available on the dexes that Audley powers are available on Mode Trade. So you can go long, you can go short, you can set stop losses, you can take profits. There's kind of all like the tools that people who trade perps would be very used to. Everything is based on USDC, so it's very easy to bridge from other chains to Mode. The magic really comes in like when people use the AI terminal alongside Mode Trade, and they start to like really dig into the synth data, start to understand how to think probabilistically about a trade, and then go and execute that either through the terminal or directly on Mode Trade. So that's really where the magic comes in. And yeah, I'm super excited for us to go through that today.
Awesome. Amber, James mentioned the synth data. Before we turn your screen on and start sharing the terminal with everybody, can you just give everybody the super brief rundown on what synth is and how it actually works?
Yeah, absolutely. So super fast rundown. Let me try. So Synth is a subnet on BitTensor. I'm sure everyone's familiar with them. It's a blockchain that produces like a variety of digital commodities with a heavy focus on AI. So each subnet has their own vertical, and Synth is focused on the financial time series data like crypto prices, and down the line we plan to add more asset classes like stock price. So right now the output of Synth is synthetic data on Bitcoin price movements for the next 24 hours, which then can be used to develop like different use cases. The data is very versatile. We've been live for about 3 months and already see improvements from the pricing models that are traditionally being used, about like 19% reduced error rate from GBM model. So I think eventually the purpose of Synth is to provide a synthetic data-driven financial intelligence for anyone to succeed in financial markets, not just big hedge funds. In terms of how it works, it's a pretty complex system that requires like coordination from different stakeholders. So on one side, we have the miners. There are about 240 miner slots. These slots are for different models to take in order to generate responses. And these responses in Synth's case are crypto price simulations, starting with BTC. And usually, so it's called miners, but it's not like Bitcoin miners in a traditional way. Usually like behind each miner slot, there's a data scientist or a data scientist team that maintains and improves the model constantly. And the other side of the equation, we have the validators who assume the role of validating the output of those miners and giving them prompts every hour. So for instance, the validators are comparing the price data output from the miners and with the actual price movement, then reach the consensus which miners are doing better than the others, which is important for rewards distribution. As subnet owner, we govern the rule of this consensus. It's our job to ensure the fairness of this competition. Yeah, so that's how it works.
Awesome. So TDLR, it's synthetic price data, and we are going to be learning very shortly how traders can actually use this data to become better traders. So with that said, let's toggle over to screen share mode here. And here's what we're gonna do. Let's run through. Why don't we go in order of operations here? Let's start with the Mode terminal. And then we can move over to Mode Trade, and then we can see how we can actually use Synth data to become better traders here. So James, what was your vision when you thought, hey, let's create an LLM and integrate it into a Perp Dex? Like, what is the advantage of having this terminal as opposed to using, for example, just ChatGPT?
So the AI terminal from Mode actually enables you to run trades, like to go long or go short via the terminal. I think that's pretty cool. Like you can use natural language to help you create a trade and actually execute the trade. So yeah, just to mention that the terminal is only available to people who've already staked. So you have to stake, I believe it's 400,000 Mode to get access. Once you get access, it's really easy to play around, to create trades, to do research, to access Synth data. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do now.
Awesome. So for new traders, how steep is the learning curve? Is it literally just as easy as typing in the trade and executing it just like that?
Let's see. Yeah, Amber, maybe we can kick off by asking like an initial prompt to the LM, to the AI terminal.
All right, what are we asking here? I can't actually read the screen because my screen is very, very small.
Swap
we're
$100
gonna-
of ETH to USDC.
There you go. So let's just read out what's on the terminal, so everybody that's either listening or can't read it can follow along.
Cool. So yeah, basically, we've asked to swap $100 of ETH to USDC. It's calculated the rate, the exchange rate between those two assets, and now it's confirming the rate of you can switch between the two assets, the swap rate, and how much you want to swap. So you can just say confirm, and then it should like start to build the transaction. Okay, issue with the conversion of ETH into base units. Try again. Okay, second try. Oh, so maybe you don't have that much ETH in the account. Or $100 worth. I think it's better to say like, can I swap? Yeah. Certain amount of ETH for USDC. So 0.01, whatever. Cool. Close that one. Maybe just fire it up again. I think you might need to swap like $10 versus do you have USDC in your wallet, Amber?
I think so. One second, I can check. Oh, I don't want to dox my wallet address here.
All good. Maybe just go to like, let's move on from the swapping. And we can go to mode trade, or yeah, you can check on another screen. That's possible. Up to you.
All right. So what exactly is Mode Trade? That was the terminal. You can use the terminal to swap tokens, to execute trades. This is the terminal. Sorry, this is Mode Trade.
This is Mode Trade, yeah.
How does it actually work?
So essentially, you just have to deposit USDC. So you can see like there's $50 of USDC currently in this account. Then you can choose an asset on the left-hand side, and you can move the slider. Or you could first go to buy or sell to either go long or short on your position. Then you move the slider to essentially, place a trade. So if you want to buy like a certain quantity, then you can do that. And yeah, as it's a perpetuals exchange, there's leverage involved. So yeah, you can set the amount of leverage for the account. As you see at the very bottom of that right-hand panel, it says a 50x is the highest amount of leverage. You can swap that for a much smaller amount. Probably should be worth swapping like 5x or something like that. I think you got to swap it for a lower amount. So if you change like the 50x thing down to like a smaller amount, that's probably better. 10x is good. And then you can essentially decide how much to buy. So maybe put in like a small trade, like a market order, maybe a very small amount, like I don't know, a few like a trade for that's good. The notional is $46 of USDC. buy that, confirm. And then, yeah, you can see the trade appear just below. And yeah, if you wait a few seconds, you'll be able to see. I think if you go to just trading, yeah, orders, you can see the order. And the status is filled. If you go back to the trading, yeah, you can obviously see, or maybe have to refresh that. Go over to ETH, see the ETH chart. And yeah, you'll be able to see that like the Unreal P&L, which is just at the bottom, next to the position, you can see that's updating as the price moves within the market. So shall we try and get some data from Synth from the AI terminal?
Absolutely. So I'm a new trader. Let's pretend I'm a new trader. I have no idea what's going on, and I'd like to become a better trader by using Synth data. Amber, how can I do that? How can Synth make me a better trader?
I think we might need to refresh the terminal right now, potentially. Sometimes, yeah, you need to refresh just to make sure that, yeah, there aren't too many chats open. Can you refresh it? Or maybe that is
Yeah,
refreshed.
it is.
Cool.
Is there any-
Yeah, and start a new chat. So maybe we can start by just asking for the forecast from Synth. I believe there's a prompt there. Now, Synth is focused on Bitcoin and Bitcoin forecasts. So yeah, essentially what the terminal is doing is it's pulling the information from the Synth API, which is based on the models of hundreds of miners. And you can see that Synth miners forecast that the price is expected to increase. And what we're asking now to do is for the terminal to show us a graph, a chart of the predicted paths. So the individual paths that the models from the miners are forecasting. Oh, here's a histogram first. So this is the expected distributions. So if you look here, you can see that, this is the top miners from the top miner, the UID 107. And you can see this is like where they expect the price of Bitcoin to go. And this is probabilistic. So yeah, you can see that there's not much. There's a very, very, very low probability, probably under 1%. So it goes under 80,000, and also a very low probability that it goes over 86,000. And you can see that visualization in a slightly different way from this graph here, which essentially shows the time over the next 24 hours and the predicted price of Bitcoin. So there's 100% chance, according to miners, that BTC will trade within this range over the next 24 hours. And the range is between, roughly, there's a little drop to 79,000 at the very end, and around $87,000. So that's the range. This can be useful for things like setting an LP position, and understanding where you can put like your stop loss, your take profit prices, things like that. Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
So now that we have this information, how can I use it to not get wrecked trading perps?
Yeah, I mean, we can ask the terminal. We can say like, we have a position open with a liquidation price of $82,000. What's the probability we get liquidated in the next 24 hours? Awesome. So this is like synth data is across 24 hours, right? So the predictions run from the current time of the next 24 hours. So what's happening now is, again, the terminal is going to analyze the predictions and then calculate the probability. So the probability your long position is liquidated at a price of 82,000 within the next 24 hours is approximately 15%. So if you have a position open and the liquidation price 80,000, there's a 15% chance you'll be liquidated. We can also ask like, what's the estimated time until I'm liquidated? So maybe you want to go out for a coffee, you want to do something. You want to know if there's like a high probability or low probability of what will happen next. Definitely, you might want to put stop loss in or something there before you leave the house. So again, it's evaluating the predicted paths and it's looking at the estimated time based on those predicted paths. Taking a little bit longer. So yeah, it's estimating that there's around 13 hours and 34 minutes until a potential liquidation could occur. So yeah, that's based, this is all based on the future volatility, the forecasted volatility from synth miners. And I think that's something that's very important to state. Like the best traders and many top traders, they're focused on trading on probabilistic outcomes. So they use this data to understand the probabilities that Bitcoin would trade above or below X price over X time, and will make decisions based on, things they see potentially happening in the future. So a good example of this is traders might decide to reduce risk during times of high volatility, especially when using things like leverage, because the price can move up or down much more aggressively. So before a Trump speech, we often see miners forecast much larger volatility because, Trump could announce something big and that could mean that the price could go up or down by like a huge amount. Whereas relatively over the weekend, you often see times of much lower volatility. Saturday and Sunday have lower volatility than weekdays because, there's a lot less news, there's a lot less things happening. So yeah, synth data can really be a tool to help people trade, help people manage risk across kind of everything they're doing within DeFi and within their trading experience. DK, any questions?
I
Yeah,
kind
jump
of
in.
just want to mention that how we reach this 15% number. So this is the conversation I had earlier with the LM. I asked it to plot a graph to explain so we can understand more intuitively. Basically, we get the top 10 miners' predictions in the prompt. So remember, like each miner is submitting 100 price paths for top 10 miners. So it's 1,000 price paths, which give us this kind of like chaotic graph on the right-hand side here. And for the liquidation threshold that we give it, it's the red dotted line here. So you can almost estimate intuitively that the proportion of paths that were predicted falls below the 82,000 amongst all the predictions. So that's how we get to this 15%, or here is a 19.5%, the number of refreshes every hour. So that's how we do it. And you can even get more detailed response to like color the red ones where your position get liquidated and the green ones that they don't. So you can get even more granular than that. Does that make sense?
I think it's interesting to point out that Synth data only predicts the price of BTC, correct? But I think that information can also be very handy when trading any of the other token pairs that are available on the DEX, correct? Because if BTC moves to the downside, and it's likely that it is going to the downside, the rest of the crypto market tends to follow BTC, correct? So by using Synth data, you can actually, I believe, use it to trade any of the other tokens on the exchange as well. And while we're talking about tokens, what other trading pairs are there on Mode Trade?
Absolutely, there's pretty much everything. I mean, there's over 100 different types of assets available. So we saw someone going pretty crazy, longing and shorting Fartcoin the other day, which is a leading meme coin. So there's like lots of different stuff like that. And we're also going to be integrating lots of these different tokens into Synth very soon. Most likely the next one after BTC will be ETH. But there's a huge variety. I don't know. You know more about memes than me, D King. So maybe there's a few that you've seen that are interesting.
Absolutely, Fartcoin is definitely the right one to start with.
Yeah,
it seems to be the theory that hot air rises. Just I mean, I'm not sure how you can argue with that. Yeah, so curious. So this is the first iteration. This is literally a first of its kind AI-driven trading platform. Nobody's done this before. Where do you see, James? Where do you see AI-driven trading evolving to kind of over the next few years? I mean, this is like step one. This is the first time it's ever been done. What plans do you have for this particular product, and where do you see trading going in general with AI being integrated into it?
so I mean, like at the end of the day, we need to help people become better traders, better at managing risk across all of DeFi. Having better data sources is the beginning, and building better products. I do think that we're gonna see a move towards like much more automated trading. So being able to ask the terminal to run certain strategies for you is something we're working on. Being able to ask the terminal to like react to certain triggers, like if Bitcoin hits X amount, then please place a trade. That's something we're also working on. And I also think that, the involvement of agents, we have a lot of teams building out individual trading agents for users. They're also going to play a huge part because they're going to be running those strategies, and they're going to be abstracting away some of that complexity. There might be like an agent that runs a certain strategy on ETH, and instead of typing out that strategy into the terminal, you might just say to the terminal, hey, deposit into this agent to run this strategy. So yeah, there's a lot. And as you said, this is very much early days, but we're super happy to be pioneering this and building this with like great teams like Audley. We're using the Goat plugin, and we're integrated with like MCP servers, and using GPT-4o and Synth data. So yeah, it's very much like a combined effort to bring all of this together and make it happen. But yeah, we're really excited about the potential.
Awesome. I know that with a lot of big corporations and institutions coming into crypto, RWAs and tokenized assets in general, are becoming a big thing. Any plans for upcoming tokenized stocks, for example, on Mode Trade?
Definitely plans, but yeah, there's obviously some regulatory hurdles with this. But yeah, we're working with partners and very interested in expanding to this area, as yeah, it's becoming, all the rage. So yeah, we'll keep everyone posted on that.
Awesome. Amber, any final thoughts, bits of information that we didn't get to regarding Synth in particular?
Yeah, I kind of want to show you guys the liquidation probability insight page we built for all the perp traders. I think it's really useful tooling, and I just want to show it very quickly. So you can see on the screen, and side by side, on the left-hand side, it's the Synth BTC liquidation probabilities, and the right-hand side, it's Mode Trade Terminal. So let's say, instead of using LLM, it shows all the probabilities in the next 24 hours, the percentage chance your position is going to be liquidated. So how I would use this is to, for example, I want to enter a long BTC position on the market price. The traders can mainly use this insight page to determine the optimum leverage they're going to take. So what you can do is go to the full leverage. I need to change this to a higher number.
Here we go, 50x.
50x.
Crazy times.
So if we go to this 50x leverage or 47, this is the liquidation estimated price, 83,700. What you can do is come back to this insight page and find this correspondent price. It looks like it's even a bit less than the 1% price change. And in 6 hours, of 39%, 24 hours is like 64%. Maybe it's a good enough for some other traders, but a bit too risky for me personally. So what you can do is to reduce your leverage on Mode Trade. Let's say we reduce to 30x, and that changes your liquidation price to 82,700. So 82,700, the closest one is this 2% price change from the current price, which just give you a much better chance to survive your position, but still looking at 40% in 24 hours. And you can do it the other way around. You can look at, what percentage I'm most comfortable with, let's say 9.4%. That sounds pretty good in 24 hours. So I can look for this price, 81,100. You can see the number change when I slide down. And that's it. So this will be the 20x leverage will be the one you're most comfortable with. And you can just buy and confirm the order here. So the same thing with the short positions. We kind of do -10 to +10 of the current prices. So it should cover most of the probabilities. And this page is open to every trader. Yeah, you can use it right now.
Awesome. So that's not one of the token gated features of the platform. This is open to everybody. And where can traders go to see that now? Amber, where can traders go to see the liquidation probabilities?
This page is already shared on X, or you can go to the Synth website, synth.co, and then go to the dashboard insight pages. But follow us on X. We give the updates first on X.
Awesome. James, sir, final thoughts before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, final thoughts are like, we've seen loads of people just like jump in, start playing around. and start just like really asking different interesting prompts. And yeah, as LLMs are non-deterministic, you might sometimes get different answers. Hopefully, if you're referencing the synth data, you get the same type of answer, but obviously the data's being updated constantly. So it's something that can be really cool to just like play around with, like day by day, as the market is obviously changing, as things are obviously changing, and play around with the way you prompt, the way you, yeah, try and like get an idea of how you trade, and how you can leverage this new tool. So I'd just say, yeah, play around with it, see what you think. We're super open to feedback, and we're excited to keep building with everyone.
Great. With that said, thank you very much to everybody that's still listening live with us, and everybody that got this far listening back. Appreciate very much, and we'll see you on the timeline. Have a
Thanks
good day,
so
everyone.
much.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.